challenger has an opportunity to do something no one in AEW has done.
He's ready! He's poised! Okay, there's part one. Now finish him off! Finish him off! He's calling for it! This is it! This is it! Your career's on the line here! Do it! Do it! This place will erupt when he picks him up! He's got him up! Thank you! We've got a new heavyweight champion! Climb the ladder, kid! Make yourself famous! I just had an out-of-body experience! What did we just see? What did we just see?
He got him in a power slam! He got him in a power slam! He got it! Simmons got it! Simmons has won the match! Simmons is a champion!
I've always maintained that reality is for people who can't face drugs.
Shit is about to get real.
You get to see your knee. Knee. Shit.
Look at the stare of the champion against the challenger.
What?
And now, Straight Talk Society presents Wrestling with Reality.
The following announcement has been paid for by the New World Order.
It's going to be the biggest battleground in the history of our sport.
The biggest match in pro wrestling history.
The two biggest superstars in our sport in the biggest event the sport has ever seen. The biggest match in the history of our sport.
A little scalded dog here. Enough is enough. That's enough. No! Oh, God, that's enough! Stop it! Fail! Listen, marriage is tougher than a $2 steak. Who is your daddy? Who's your daddy, Undertaker? Little slam, toe slam. Who's your daddy, Undertaker? Lucifer's lips are the biggest size in the WWE. Somebody stop this! Somebody stop the damn man! Enough's enough!
What?
The irresistible force meeting the immovable object.
It's got it real! Woo!
WWE Dynamite.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? It's time. Let's rock.
I can't do it. We'll do it live.
So to escape from reality?
We'll do it live! Fuck it!
I am reality.
Do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
Oh, it's live, pal.
Let the slaughter begin!
It is now time for
With reality.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass.
Junior, look at this.
And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Number one, to be the man, baby! You have to beat the man! Heavyweight champion of the world. The time is now. Reality has become the present, and the final lesson of the pain game has begun. Have you ever heard a joke like that in your life?
You are gonna wrestle my ass for the world title. You will have to kill me to keep me from killing you. Woo!
The 90s have been referred to as the reckoning with truth. In the 80s, everything was clouded. Nobody ever told the truth. In the 90s, the way to go is flat out. Tell no lies. That's the way we're gonna do it. When you hear something from our lips, truth it may be, and as much as it may hurt, you can count on it being exactly the way that it is.
We want the gold, sucker! Hulk Hogan, we coming for you, nigga!
Oh, yeah. In the words of the great Booker T, all you wrestling podcasts, we are coming for you, niggas. Shout out to everybody. Welcome to Wrestling with Reality. I already see the eyeballs piling up, so y'all might as well go ahead and hit the like, share, and subscribe button right now. Shout out to those of you watching on Twitter, and I do appreciate the Twitter audience because you guys are really into the politics show and the wrestling stuff. So I do appreciate that. I do look at the analytics over there. Wish you guys would come over to YouTube, but nevertheless, it's all good. Thank you guys for watching. Anyway, I am Mr. Straight Talk, the man with the greatest beard on YouTube, the man who does not need a sponsor. Wink, wink. We'll get into that at some point. But I'm not alone. I am joined by producer extraordinaire Venkat in the building. What's going on, Venkat?
What's going on, Trevor?
I can't call it.
And we also got MD, Don't Call Me Diddy 20.
What's up, MD?
What's happening, man? I'm tired, bro. But I'm here.
Yeah, man. Uh-oh, I'm hearing like an echo. Who is that?
I don't know. Is it me? Yeah, it shouldn't be. It's
Yeah,
not me because I was on mute.
Yeah, I don't know. Now I can't hear it. I don't know. But nevertheless, we are here for Sting Part 2. So just so everybody knows, this was supposed to be the final show of this Sting career retrospect. But in putting it together, the man did a lot. And it took me a long time to put this together. And by the time I got to his WWE run and into his AEW run, I'm like, oh my God, this will be a 3-hour show, 3+ hour show. So we are going to come back with a part 3. So tonight you're going to get Sting's TNA Impact run. So we did his NWA WCW run the last time, but tonight's retrospect on Sting will be his entire Impact run, and it was a lot. I didn't realize he spent so many years in Impact. But before we get into the review, I do want to just give a couple of quick updates of what we have coming up on the channel. Tomorrow night we do have a not a debate, but we will be having a presentation by 2023 co-champ Stacey Mobley. Then Friday night we may do a live watch along for SmackDown during the 5 count because my daughter wants to do one, so we may do one. Who knows? We may. If not, 5 count will be like right after SmackDown goes off the air. Then Saturday, King and Queen of the Ring, we will be doing a live watch party to the main event, Cody Rhodes versus Logan Paul. And then immediately after that, we'll just go ahead and review the entire event. And the reason we're doing it that way is because the following night is AEW Double or Nothing. I said Dynasty in one of the shows. Oh my God, it's Double or Nothing. This is one of their biggest shows. The card looks pretty good, but you know those shows come on at 8 o'clock, so it's probably not gonna be over till midnight. And then we'll do that review come Wednesday on Wrestling with Reality. So even though we went to the bi-weekly, I did say that if something comes up, we'll do the weekly show, which we have 2 pay-per-views to review. So we'll do the AEW review on Wednesday. Oh, forgot about it already. Special edition of Man Talk Monday this Sunday because Daniel Price, he broke up with her. Okay, I got to see what that says later. Shout out to Daniel in the building. But we Man Talk Monday is normally on Monday, but it's Memorial Day, so we're not gonna do it, and I don't want to push it back another week. So I talked with the guys, and they're open to doing it Sunday. So look for that Man Talk Monday show this Sunday at 12. We'll be sure, regardless if it's Sunday or not, we'll be sure to get all the debauchery in for you so you could enjoy your Memorial Day. So, and then Tape Fist Politics. Hey, check out last night's Tape Fist Politics episode, the trilogy of trash, the finale. We talk about children. Just go back and check out that entire trilogy. It was really good, and I agree with MD. Last night was the most tamed one of the bunch. I you know what? I thought it would be. I did think it would be. The women one was the one that I thought we would have got more heated, but it seems like the man one is the one that we really, went crazy about. And and that's crazy because this channel, we're more male positive over here, with the exception of somebody who won't be named until Monday, that likes to go against men. But nevertheless, here we are. Look at that. Keela already put the link in the chat. There you go. And so Daniel says, okay, so this Tuesday's episode of Tape Fist Politics, Dark Church Deception, Prophets over Prophets. Huh. Oh boy, that's gonna be a Jeremy Dunbar and Apex special if I ever seen one. And speaking of Apex, make sure and tune into God and Government. Are you doing it this Monday, MD?
You must be in a bad signal.
Oh, okay.
What? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Did you say something to me? Hey, I'm driving, bro, so it's gonna be tough for me tonight.
Yeah. Are you doing God and Government this Monday?
That's the plan. I'm gonna get in touch with everybody, and because I don't know what everybody's schedule gonna be looking like from Memorial Day. I'll be good to go, but that's the plan. That's the plan. It's a hell of a week for me this week. I can't do nothing,
bro. Tell me about it. This has been the craziest week. I guess we got to give Biden the credit because this is ridiculous. This is crazy. So
Biden's economy.
I know Van got over there cheering. He's like, yes. So let me see what Daniel Price says. Daniel Price says he broke up with Hellwig. They were in a tag team together, collided Blade Runners. Warrior went to WCCW and Sting went to UWF. Speaking of WCCW, yeah, Daniel, we did cover that in the first part of the Sting show that we did a couple of weeks ago. Speaking of WCCW, we got to do a breakdown of that entire thing, man. Like the tragedy of the Von Erich family, like that. I mean, that needs to be told by us, though, not
because I damn sure didn't tell the story, right?
I still haven't watched the movie. You know what? Maybe I should watch the movie first and see what the movie did, and then we'll construct something around that, because I just watched a video yesterday and you could tell it was AI generated. So they had no soul in it. You could tell they didn't know really what was going on. They were just regurgitating a bunch of things that they heard. So I'd be interested into, in us touching the Von Erich. Okay. Us doing something on the Von Erich family. Cause that's crazy, man. That's wow. I mean, you lose all your sons with the exception of one. That's insane. So Daniel, this was to the Tape Fist Politics. That topic will take you a long time to cover. A lot of phony mofos out there pretending to be prophets when there is no such thing. Hey, I agree with you. Hey, come back tomorrow. We're doing a biblical presentation over here on the channel. I agree with you. There are no prophets walking the earth. There are no apostles walking the earth. Jeremy, back signal. There are no.
Yeah,
there are
I was just about to say, you might as well just call that show the Jeremy Dunbar show.
Yeah. I got to give you Jeremy's number, MD, because I know you told me I could give it to you. So
yeah, no problem.
Last thing from Daniel, he says Iron Claw was a decent movie. The rise and fall of world class wrestling is much better. Yeah, I love that triumph to tragedy. I thought that was a really, really good story. I watched it like 10 times, crazy. But I just thought it was so great because it showed the entire WCCW run. And they had something going, man. They really had something going, but it was regional. It would have never been it would have never been national. It was just a regional thing, but it was great for what it was. So let's get into the man of the hour, and I'm going to lean heavily on MD tonight because
put some respect on Sting's name.
Because absolutely no lie here. The only thing I'm going to talk about tonight that I watched was the Jeff Hardy situation, and I watched that maybe 3 years ago because I kept hearing people talking about it. I watched zero TNA. None of Sting's run. Venkat, how much of Sting's run did you watch in TNA?
Yeah, I still got my DVDs. He was the champion for a lot of times and a lot of years, and every year they would say he's going to retire, and then they'd offer him more money to stay. Bound for Glory, he was almost in the main event every year.
Every year.
All right, so you know enough to, because I mean, if this was his WCW run, his WWE run, hell, even some of his AEW run, I could chime in. But here, I know nothing about it. I mean, when I was reading some of this stuff, I'm like, my goodness, I got a lot to go back and watch just because I just didn't watch Impact. So Bischoff never should have let Hardy go out. Absolutely, yeah, we're gonna get there. Because that was disgusting. That has been the most disgusting moment in wrestling. So let's get into this. This is Sting, part 2. So we last left off. Sting remained absent from WCW programming until the final episode of Nitro on March 26, 2001. By this point, WCW had been purchased by WWF, and the final match in WCW history pitted Sting against his longtime rival Ric Flair. The two had also competed on the very first episode of Nitro, September 4th, 1995. Sting defeated Flair, and the two embraced to end the contest. So that's the last Nitro. And Venkat, I'm not looking at the screen too much, so you're gonna have to put the comments up and let me know if they're there, because I'm going back and forth on screens. So after the WWF chose not to buy out Sting's contract with AOL Time Warner, he rejected a buyout offer of 50 cents on the dollar from AOL Time Warner. Instead, waiting until his contract expired in March 20, 2002, he announced a short-lived retirement in February that year. Borden then entered into contract negotiations with the WWF, but ultimately did not join the promotion. So that's the first thing right there. I knew once the purchase happened that's why Goldberg didn't come over. That's why Kevin Nash, Hogan, none of them, because they didn't want to take the buyout. They didn't want to take the 50 cent on the dollar buyout and then be free to negotiate with Vince. Booker T did it because Booker T said in the interview he felt like he had something to prove. So, all right, real quick on Sting just rejecting their offer flat out. Okay, so now here's my other thing. Would that have been that was right at the invasion angle? How much better would that invasion angle been had Sting shown up?
No, they would have messed it up anyway. Sting made the right decision not going. They would have brought Sting down because that invasion angle was just straight trash, and they would have just dirtied Sting legacy up with that one. So he made the right decision to stay far, far away from that.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't think it would have been any better because we know that Vince really didn't take heed to the talent that he was acquiring at that time. So, yeah, I mean, he would have looked at Sting as just another WCW guy, and that's unfortunate because we definitely would have got Undertaker Sting at some point. But, it is what it is.
Just the fact that they didn't do Undertaker Sting alone, that alone lets you know how much of a blunder the whole thing would have been. You had Sting for 1 year, and that match didn't come up. That's crazy.
I mean, we gonna get there. We gonna get there. Just follow the timeline. World Wrestling All-Stars 2002 to 2003. Never knew this was a thing.
Yeah, the weekly pay-per-views.
In November 2002, after over a year and a half hiatus, Borden toured Europe with the World Wrestling All-Stars promotion throughout November and December. His first match in the WWA took place on November 28th in Dublin, Ireland, where he reunited with Lex Luger to defeat Buff Bagwell and Malice. at the Retribution on December 6, 2002. In Glasgow, Scotland, United Kingdom, Sting lost to Luger in a bout for the vacant WWA World Heavyweight Championship. Sting defeated Luger to claim the WWA World Heavyweight Championship in Switzerland on December 13th. So, World Wrestling All-Stars. And y'all familiar with it?
I know of it, but I never watched it. It's hard to obtain that type of stuff.
Yeah, I knew about it because, back then you had the on-demand cable and you would see it on on-demand cable. Ironically, that's how I got into TNA. But, it was just something just out the blue. It really didn't have much of a buzz like TNA did on the same type of format with the weekly pay-per-views. But I knew of it, but I never watched any of it. In retrospect, I guess you could, but at the time, no, I didn't watch any of it.
So you can't find anything. It's hard to find. It was hard for me just to find pictures for this thing.
Yeah, well, I have no idea. Like I said, I vividly remember seeing it on demand pay-per-view, but I didn't know what it was. So, I just didn't think anything of it.
So, okay, startup. This is a startup company. It's only lasted 2 years. What kind of money you think they offered Sting? Okay, let's look at it this way. The money that Sting got from them, do you think it was a 10th of what Vince would have gave him? Regardless of what Vince would have done with him. That's not what I'm asking. Do you think the money would have been a 10th of what Vince would have paid him?
Well, of course, the money is going to be more at WWE, but it's not about that. It's about legacy. And Sting had been getting paid all these years anyway. You could tell when you heard Sting talk about his interaction with Vince McMahon, he gives Vince McMahon a lot of compliments, but he knew that they're not in the business to look at WCW talent as equals, and he ain't trying to further anybody in WCW. It took a while. It took a while for Vince McMahon to catch on and give Benoit and those guys, their ability to shine. And even Booker T, you see all the crap he had to deal with when he got over there. So, no, I mean, yeah, the money would be less, but sometimes you got to do things on the merit of what it is, and the money will come later.
So you holding on to that great WWA legacy?
Hey, it's just a means to an end. WWA is just to get him to TNA. So good.
So Daniel says yes, they dropped the ball. Everybody. I mean, consensus. Everybody agreed that the invasion angle sucked ultimately. So yeah, he had a lot of money from Vince, but Vince would have booked him in a way that made him learn his place. Yeah, I don't disagree. We'll trust me. When we get to his WWE run, we'll get to it. It's coming.
But don't you think
but it's coming?
Don't you think it's kind of ironic and two-faced that WWF would talk about how badly WCW messed up getting Bret Hart, and they constantly talked about that. You got WCW, a fragmented version, but you still got something where you could have promoted in a way and made it right. Then you got ECW, and you could have promoted to make it really work, and they completely dropped the ball on that. And I think that's a bigger misstep than Bret Hart.
Bret Hart's run was terrible, but I mean, again,
he had some shining moments. There's not many shining moments in the invasion.
A broken clock is right twice a day. I mean, Bret Hart's WCW run was terrible. I mean, we could do that. They ain't doing it on this show, but we could do it if you want.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do that because it ain't really that bad.
Because Bones would kill me if I don't let him on that show. Because Bret Hart is his favorite wrestler. Everybody. Yeah, Bret Hart did not fit in WCW. It just didn't. It didn't work. Those Southern boys didn't know what to do with him. It just didn't work. But I would also say this. Maybe Bret Hart wasn't as over as he thought he was. Bones, come get me. Come get me.
That could be. It could
come get me. Because I don't, and as a matter of fact, when we're done doing this Sting review, I'm going to have to rearrange my top 5 because I don't think I had Sting in the top 5. But after this, I'm going to have to put Sting up there. So
let me say about the Bret Hart thing, because I Bret Hart's one of my top wrestlers too, but at the same time, Bret didn't fit because of the guys that were on top in WCW. If there would have been a different scenario where you would have had some of the, because the best Bret Hart match WCW was the Owen Hart tribute match, point blank, period.
With Chris Benoit.
Yeah, hands down. Those are the guys he needed to work with. Unfortunately, Bischoff wouldn't put them guys on top of the card. So it's a case to make that Bret Hart in WCW shouldn't have been at the top of the card. He should have been down low to fit.
Well, you know they made Thunder for him. That's the reason Thunder was made. That was supposed to be Bret Hart's show.
Well, it didn't go well.
No.
So
if Bret Hart would have came in like 93, 95, it'll be a different story then. But by 96 and 7, WCW had so much star power. It's hard to get in there.
All right. Oh man, I don't want to do the Bret Hart show.
We got to do it at one point. I mean, it's worth talking about.
Yeah, we definitely want to talk about Bret Hart. I mean, I just don't want to do it here. But Bret Hart lobbied for a match against Hogan, so and
it should have happened. It should have happened.
But he lobbied for a match against Hogan in WWF. Hogan was supposed to drop the belt to him at Survivor Series, and that's what he was pissed about. So had he had it in WCW, I mean, it's what he wanted. He is the same type of people. He was trying to work with for Vince.
Yeah,
he worked with Diesel. He gave Diesel his best match ever in his career. He worked with Diesel. So Kevin Nash was over in ECW, WCW. The players were the same. I just think it was their whole booking philosophy. That's what I think it was. And again, I don't think Bret Hart is as great as Bret Hart makes himself out to be. So that's that. So
Bones is gonna do a drive-by on you.
Bones, come get me. Just come and get me. So Sting embarked on a second tour with WWE in May 2003, successfully defending his championship against Rick Steiner, Shane Douglas, and the Disco Inferno. The WWE held its final show, The Reckoning, on May 25th in Auckland, New Zealand, where the NWA World Heavyweight Champion Jeff Jarrett defeated Sting for the WWA World Heavyweight Championship, unifying both titles. My goodness. Jeff Jarrett going to get himself over anywhere, right?
Yeah. Now, one thing that I do know about WWE, when you mentioned Disco Inferno, he was booking. I was booking WWE at that time. I do know that. That's the only thing I know.
I like Disco Inferno.
Inferno was very good. He don't get enough credit. He was very good.
People crap on him because of that gimmick, but I really liked him. All right, let's move on because we got a ton of slides to get to. So let's get into his NWA total nonstop action run, and from 2003 to 2004.
Worst name ever.
11 years in NWA TNA. I did not know he was there that long. So in 2003, Sting signed a contract committing him to 4 appearances with NWA TNA. He debuted in TNA on the June 18, 2003 one-year anniversary show, teaming with Jeff Jarrett to defeat AJ Styles and Six Pac. So he makes his debut for TNA. Let's move on here. Sting returned to TNA on November 5th, 2003, defeating Jeff Jarrett by disqualification in a match for the NWA Heavyweight Championship. On November 12th, Sting teamed with Styles to defeat Jarrett and Lex Luger. He made his final TNA appearance of 2003 on December 17th, defeating Jarrett in a non-title match. So what do you guys, he first comes into Impact, and immediately the first thing he does is rehash the WCW stories.
Yeah. I still have a poster of that matchup. I think I bought some sort of action figure from TNA, and it came with a poster. I remember that. I mean, I guess it's because for familiarity of Jeff Jarrett and the fact that he may trust him, That's why he got into a campaign dealing with him. But I would have rather seen him go against someone else instead of Jeff Jarrett.
Do we like Jeff Jarrett? I like Jeff Jarrett.
He's okay. He's okay, but sometimes he's just annoying. Like in those last days of WCW, the Chosen One and all that other crap he was saying, slap nuts. Ugh. I don't know.
MD, what's your thoughts on Jeff Jarrett?
Hey, me personally, I ain't got no problem with him as far as what he did for TNA in the beginning. As far as like his WCW stuff, yeah, I wasn't. You know, that was him and Russo, like stringing along. You know what I mean? You know, slap nuts and all that. What WCW 2000 and all that.
Yeah,
that wasn't the move.
Okay. Let me put y'all in this scenario. Had Jeff Jarrett not debuted for WWF with the JARRETT, that's Jeff Jarrett. Had he not done that, and he would have just been his regular WCW self, would you guys have thought different? Because that's why Stone Cold didn't want to work with him. There was a planned program on the board with Stone Cold and Jeff Jarrett, and Stone Cold was like, "No, I'm not working with him. He's a underneath guy, basically."
Well, you know, it didn't.
To that.
Well, a lot of it helped because like he was best friends with Russo, so you know what I mean. I mean, that helped a little bit. So it was actually Russo that was pushing it. Like Russo loved Jeff Jarrett, loved it. So you know, it didn't help. I mean, I guess it helped Jeff Jarrett, but you know, at the end of the day, you know, it is what it is. He got pushed based on his connections. But as a character, like the JEWF, like I love Jeff Jarrett back in WWF. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna front. But to Austin's point, he was a mid-card guy. He was a top mid-card guy, for sure. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, connections, man. Politicking.
I'm going to say this. Shout out to Bones in the building. Bones, I think you just walked in, but just in case you didn't hear 2 minutes earlier, Bret Hart is overrated. Come get me.
Lord. My goodness.
Real quick, that first show, that was the first show that I bought. Back then, you could get TNA shows for $5. They was $5 every week on demand pay-per-view. That was the first show, the anniversary show, and that was a good card. I believe they had Chris Sabin and Paul London. That's the match I remember, and that's how I fell in love with the X Division. But I remember that fondly based off of that. That's all I wanted to say.
MD, that's damn near $300 a year, though. If you were to buy them all, like if you were to buy them, well, what the hell? I'm talking 200.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, but hey, you know, you can't. Hey, I was what 2003. I had just got back, man. I could spare $5, man. It wasn't no big deal.
Yeah. So this is what I wanted to say. Booker T, as great as the moment was, him winning the WCW title at that Bash at the Beach, the moment would have been a billion times better had it been Hulk Hogan on the receiving end of the pen. I think Jeff Jarrett, him beating Jeff Jarrett after we just saw Jeff Jarrett earlier in the night lay down, just kind of took some shine off of it for me.
Yep. Very much true. That couldn't say anything truer than that. They're always messing things up, though. I mean, it's always like that.
So Hulk Hogan deserved what he said. We're coming for you, nigga. he been screwing the man over for the longest. Yeah. So on March 24th, 2004, Borden was interviewed once again by Mike Tenay as part of a promotion for his direct-to-video biographical film, Sting, The Moment of Truth. I'd never heard of this before today.
Yeah.
And on March 31st...
That's the Christian thing, I think.
You have it?
No. I remember. That's the Christian documentary, right?
I bought this DVD from FYE. I put it in the DVD player, and the damn thing didn't work.
Oh boy!
And then I had to return. And then it took me like a year or so later. I finally was able to see it, like on YouTube or something like that. It was, It's horrible.
The way I found out about it, the way I found out about that, I was sitting down with my granddad one day, and the 700 Club was on, and Sting was on. I was like, "Why is the hell Sting on the 700 Club?" And he was talking about that documentary.
Yeah, you just see it's like cheap sets. Like it looked like they just rented a room and they just darkened the background, and you just had Sting talking to one person about this and that, and then he just talks about his life, making changes, and yeah, it just goes from every step. And then like when they have to show a wrestling segment, I guess they have like a little gym wrestling ring area, and they'll just film like little segments of him fighting people and stuff like that.
Because they didn't have the rights to anything.
No, they didn't have the rights to any WCW video, so they had to recreate.
Look at the cover. Look at the cover art. Like look how cheap and crappy. It looks like,
it's very low
like
quality. Yeah, it is. But
So-
but you know, if I saw it in there, I saw it in the store. I'm like, oh crap, Sting out of something. I'm like, I'm gonna buy it. Boy, does that ever a problem.
Man, you said FYE. I bet most people listening to this don't know what the hell you're talking about. They don't know about Sam Goody, Peaches, none of those places.
No.
On March 24th, okay, so he did the Moment of Truth. On March 31st, he returned to the company for one night only as a special guest enforcer for the main event of a four-way match between AJ Styles, Abyss, Raven, and Ron the Truth Killings, which Raven won. So fast forward a little bit. Sting would wrestle in the independent circuit in 2004 and 2005. Man, I did not know any of this because by that time I was fully entrenched in just what was going on in WWE. Only competing in two matches. On July 21st, 2004, Sting teamed up with the Great Muta, defeating Diamond Dallas Page and Satoshi Kojima at HCW Battle Hawaii in Honolulu, Hawaii. Then on January 22nd, 2005, he defeated Billy Gunn at NWA Mid-Atlantic in Seoul, South Korea. Now, I tried my hardest to find something on this Billy Gunn match, and this is the best that I could find. A screenshot from something saying January 22nd, 2005, Sting defeated Billy Gunn. Like, there is nothing showing on this. I went through all the wrestling databases and stuff, and there is nothing. So, I tell y'all the great lengths that I go through to try to do this stuff, man. So Daniel Price says, Muta, he and Sting teamed up against the Steiners at New Japan WCW Super Show back in the 90s. See, Daniel seems to be like a real wrestling fan. And Bones, we are going to do a Bret Hart show. We got to do, but I don't want to do a Bret Hart WWE. I want to do a Bret Hart WCW run. That's going to be the show. Bret Hart's WCW run. Y'all agree?
Oh yeah.
How can you, so we're just supposed to have a whole show with Bret Hart in WCW. That's going to be a bad show.
Run. Just as WCW run. because Venkat doesn't think that they bumbled it. I'm going to show you that it was bumbled.
All right.
I don't.
Good luck. Good luck with that
one. So let's get back to his feud with Jeff Jarrett. So he feuded with Jeff Jarrett from 2005 to 2006. On December 11, 2005, at Turning Point, as Jeff Jarrett stood in the ring celebrating his victory, the lights in the arena went out as images of the Scorpion Sting's images of a Scorpion. Sting's signature symbol appeared on the arena screens along with the date January 15, 2006. Spotlights then illuminated the ring, revealing a chair bearing Sting signature trench coat, boots, and a black baseball bat in the center of the ring. His return to TNA was officially announced 1 minute after midnight on the January 1st, 2006 episode of Impact. So again, he's coming back now to feud with Jeff Jarrett again. So his first year in the company, all Jeff Jarrett. He hits the indie circuit, his first 4 appearances. He hits the indie circuit. He comes back, and now he's going to feud with Jarrett for a year. But we're seeing Christian there. We're seeing Monty Brown, as Daniel brings up. You got AJ Styles. Samoa Joe was there at that point, right?
Yeah,
Samoa Joe was in the
Samoa
X
Joe.
division at that time.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just wondering, like, why is it just it's all Jared here? It's just like everything is just all Jared. I don't know.
Well, this is back in the Asylum days. I mean, hell, essentially it was his company, so of course he was gonna book himself. Here's another thing though. I remember when Christian made the announcement, right? It was as if and Final Resolution, they had Mike Tenay in the ring, and they were talking as if Sting had never been there. Like his whole run in 2003 was like non-canon or something. I was like, well, like, what's going on? So I thought that was weird, you know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, Jeff gonna book himself up into a point, which we're gonna get into. I'm pretty sure.
Oh yeah, just buckle your seatbelt. You were gonna say something.
This is during the time of Jeff Jarrett being called King of the Mountain.
King of the Mountain, yeah, King of the Mountain.
And I have that DVD too. I have a lot of those profile DVDs. He had one where it just showed all his best matches in TNA at that time. And this was a time when he became the world champion earlier. And he just kept beating people over and over. But yeah, that was his King of the Mountain run.
So, wait, all right. Okay, I forgot what I was going to say. So on January 15th, the Final Resolution, Sting and Christian defeated Jeff Jarrett and Monty Brown in a tag match after Sting pinned Jarrett. On the January 28th episode of Impact, Sting made his Spike TV debut at first appearance on national television in almost 5 years after announcing his retirement. Okay, so again, that because MD brought it up, and Daniel says, yeah, he made the King of the Mountain match just for himself. So MD did bring it up that they were on weekly pay-per-view. So all these are still weekly pay-per-view shows, correct?
They were.
No,
I'm trying to
only in
remember.
the beginning. Only in the beginning.
In the beginning, 2003, 2004. I'm trying to think when they. What was it?
They got on TV. At this point, they were on TV.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what was going on before the Spike deal. I'm
TNN.
The Nashville
TNN.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a whole big thing when they changed it to Spike. And of course, like they was using TNA as like one of the flagship shows. And long story short, we all know what happened. They lost that deal, and eventually WWE got that deal. But another story for another day.
So Daniel says they were on Fox Sports 1 before they were on Spike. I forgot. No,
that was after. That was after.
I forgot about TNN. It's crazy, man. Wrestling used to be on TNN. Like that was the hot wrestling channel.
Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong, Van Cat. Once they lost the deal to Spike, that's when they went to FS1, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they went to FS1 after. And they had two shows. They had Impact, and they had another show that came on like during the day on FS1. I remember that vaguely after the Spike deal.
It's just crazy that this is his first televised appearance in 5 years. And one thing that I'm gonna be saying that's a reoccurring thing in this, Sting always looks good. Like when you think about all the other wrestlers of his age that's making comebacks and doing this, and they look like complete shit. Like he's always kept up. Even, we'll get to his AEW run, but even in AEW, he wasn't a slob. Like, you know what I mean? Like he wasn't
without steroids.
Yeah, well, I don't know. So
he said it. When he used steroids during the Ultimate Warrior days. Well, the Dingo Warrior days, the Blade Runner days. But after he came to NWA around that time, the earlier time, he stopped using steroids. Probably like he stopped using them probably like in 89, 90.
Of course he did.
What do you mean by that?
Of course he did.
What do you mean?
I'm just like wrestlers and steroids. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, look at Sting from 1990, 91, 92, and then look at other guys' bodies like Warrior and even
when Warrior came back at WrestleMania 8. Remember that was a rumor that the real Ultimate Warrior had died because that guy was so small.
Yeah, that's just him off the juice.
Even Hulk Hogan's WCW run in '94, he was skinny, like he was thin.
Yep, off the juice.
But that was after the scandal and the steroid scandal and everything. So Borden returned on March 12th at Destination X, and not for nothing. I just gotta say this: Impact does have some dope pay-per-view names. Just wanted to throw that out there. Saving Christian Cage and Rhino as they were attacked by Jared's army. And he then placed Jared in a Scorpion Deathlock, but was attacked by the debuting Scott Steiner shortly thereafter. So now we got another familiar face from WCW. See, Scott Steiner has Sting in the Steiner recliner. Didn't even realize that was Sting without the face paint. I almost thought that was Larry Zbyszko, but no, that is Sting that he has in the Steiner recliner right there. So debuting Scott Steiner. Let's go on. This led to a lethal lockdown match between Sting, AJ Styles, Ron Killings, and Rhino against Jared's army on April 23rd at Lockdown. Sting's team won the match. So their lethal lockdown. I think that's the pay-per-view that every match is in the
Six
cage.
Sides of Steel. Yeah, 6 Sides of Steel. I remember this. It was they called them Sting's Warriors versus Jared Army. Yeah, it was all right match. I remember that match.
Yeah, Lethal Lockdown is a single ring war games.
Yeah. So my homie gave me a this is probably back in like 2010, gave me an X Division DVD. That thing was awesome, man. That was my goodness.
Yeah. This was also the pay-per-view. I believe, I could be wrong, but I believe this is the pay-per-view with America's Most Wanted versus Triple X for the tag team match with Elix Skipper.
Yeah, when he came off the top. Yeah,
off they see a lot of people like that spot. Go watch the match. The match was fire.
All right. So following lockdown, Sting proceeded to seek out partners to help him defeat Jeff Jarrett and Scott Steiner for good. After bringing out Lex Luger, Buff Bagwell, and Rick Steiner as potential opt-them, so all of them were over there as potential options, he settled on Samoa Joe. So he brought out Luger, Buff Bagwell, and Steiner, so everybody that betrayed him in WCW. So yeah, he made the right decision settling on Samoa Joe. On May 14th at Sacrifice, Sting and Joe defeated Jeff Jarrett and Steiner after Joe pinned Jarrett with a muscle buster. Still having proven unsuccessful at putting Jarrett away, Sting defeated Scott Steiner by disqualification to earn a spot in the King of the Mountain match at Slammiversary on June 18th. What is a King of the Mountain match?
It's a ladder match, pretty much.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And you just gotta go up the top of the mountain to get the title and win the match.
Isn't this the company that does like the reverse Royal Rumble?
Well, they call them the gauntlet match, and I actually like that concept where they have the 30 men and then the last two is pinfall and submission. I like that.
Well, yeah, I think that's how it should be. At the end of the Royal Rumble, the final two should duke it out.
Yeah, that's how TNA always done. They battle royal.
So Daniel's saying, yeah, they did have a reverse battle royal. So I'm assuming everybody starts on the outside and you got to get them inside. Like, how the hell does that work? What is that? That just sounds crazy. On May 14th at Sacrifice, Sting defeated. On May 14th at Sacrifice, Sting and Joe defeated Jarrett and. Okay, no. Okay, all right. So Sting defeated Scott Steiner by disqualification to earn a spot in the King of the Mountain match at Slammiversary. However, due to a confrontation with Christian Cage during the match, Sting was distracted, allowing crooked referee Earl Hebner. They bringing out all the WWE vets here to knock over the ladder both were on, sending both men to the floor and allowing Jarrett to pick up the victory. So on July 16th at Victory Road, y'all make sure and hit that like, share, and subscribe button. I see the eyeballs in here watching. Y'all came in here to hear about the man called Sting. I get it. On July 16th at Victory Road, Sting won a fatal four-way match to earn a title shot at Jarrett's NWA title. Sting received his title shot on August 28th and August 13th at Hard Justice, but failed to capture the title after Christian Cage turned heel and hit Sting with Jarrett's guitar. So not only is he only feuding Jarrett, but he's losing to Jarrett at every turn. Like, he is not beating Jarrett at all.
Yeah.
So, like,
six.
So at what point do you, like, because this is like the fourth try for him now. This is like the fourth try for you. Like, you don't get any more. Like, at what point I guess Jarrett was booking this, so it doesn't matter. At what point do you be like, okay, Jarrett, move on to another face? Or because in order for a year-long feud to work, I feel like there got to be some trade-offs here and there. Like, you don't have to do the title change, but the other guy has to get some type of comeuppance. Sting just looks like he's playing the doofus every time.
I think those matches, some of them are disqualification or whatever. I don't think like Sting is getting pinned every time, though. I don't think that's what's happening.
Hey, I tell you who Jeff Jarrett was putting over, AJ Styles. In between this time, they was pushing AJ Styles to the.
So he was feuding AJ along with Sting.
I believe during the feud Jeff Jarrett run, Jarrett lost the title at one point in time to AJ Styles. He got it back.
Yeah, he did. Which was great to have AJ, because AJ definitely, should be a champion there.
Former WCW talent AJ Styles. Man, wow. Well, you talk about who you had on your roster. My goodness. Sting would have another match at Bound for Glory, putting his career on the line. Again, their pay-per-view names are great. Putting his career on the line as an added stipulation. So he ain't losing that one. He went on to claim his second NWA Heavyweight Championship when he made Jarrett submit to the Scorpion Deathlock, marking the first major championship Sting had won since 1999. So 7 years, 7 years later, he finally won another title, like a major title. Because again, the legacy that Venkat want to talk about in the WWE, hey, they saying he finally won a major title 7 years later. I
don't know how all of a sudden I became a WWE advocate.
with that victory, Sting became the oldest NWA World Heavyweight Champion of the TNA. Okay, they qualified it there, of the TNA era, because I'm about to say, no way. As well as the only person to ever win the title both before and after the inception of TNA. So, okay, MD, the NWA title, at this point, there was no TNA title?
No, they were still, TNA was still affiliated with NWA at that time. I believe it wasn't until 2008 is when they disbanded from NWA. I could be wrong. It was either 2007, 2008. So, yeah, they were still under NWA at that time.
And I love the NWA title is fantastic. That's a fantastic belt. It looks like a championship. It looked like the only way, though, if you have that, you got to wear a suit. Like, that got to be the qualifier. You have to wear a suit in order to be that champion, to wear that belt. It's a fantastic belt. This would also go on to make Sting the longest superstar to recapture his second NWA title from 1990 to 2006. So wait a minute. So the belt that
They're
he
talking
won
about the NWA. They're talking about the NWA title.
But so when at Great American Bash when he beat Flair, that was the NWA title.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, Ric Flair is recognized as the first WCW champion in January of '91 in the Meadowlands Arena in New Jersey. That was a house show. It wasn't the actual event. He became recognized as the first WCW champion then.
See,
when he beat Sting.
I know I saw some belts online that said NWA World Heavyweight Champion on the big goal. It didn't just say World Heavyweight. It said NWA. And everybody was telling me, everybody said, oh, no, that's not real. That's a fake. And I'm like, no, can't be.
No, that whole time it was recognized as NWA title until January of '91.
All right, so Sting lost the title to Abyss on November 19th at Genesis. by disqualification after pushing aside the referee and pushing Abyss into a stack of tables covered with barbed wire. So, MD, I'm gonna have to steal a line from Conrad. Chat me up. Why the hell was there a table with barbed wire at ringside if you couldn't use it?
Yeah, so what I remember about this, so you had Father James Mitchell was trying to stipulate that Abyss was going to use it on stage. Like I said, it was weird back then. It never was like a Monsters Ball match or no DQ or nothing like that. James Mitchell was trying to make it a Monsters Ball, but they was like, "No, we're gonna call it right down the line." And it was kind of like a blood feud. So Sting got so enraged that he just pushed Abyss into the barbed wire table or whatever it was, and he called a bell. James Mitchell gave Abyss the title, and that was that. Like, Sting was looking confused. I was like, it was weird. You got to remember, mid 2000 TNA, all type of crazy stuff was going on.
Do you think that was meant to happen?
Of course, like how they used to do storylines, yeah, because they was all over the place with a lot of different things.
So
as we'll see, go ahead.
No, the only reason I asked you if you think it was meant to happen, because you remember that's how Sheamus won his first title, by accidentally pushing John Cena into the table, which wasn't supposed to happen.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, it was weird. Like, I didn't know what was going on. I didn't see this live, but I remember seeing it like a couple of weeks later. I'm like, huh, like what happened? You know what I'm saying? So it was weird. And you could tell, like, I guess Sting was playing a role, like he didn't know what was going on either. You know what I'm saying? So it may be some type of plausibility to that. I don't know. But I know around this time, TNA was weird. So,
go ahead, Venkat.
No, I didn't say anything. I agree with what MD saying.
So
wrestling logic.
I'm just laughing at this picture. In the weeks following Genesis, Sting's feud with Abyss continued, and Christian Cage was involved, leading to a three-way match for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship on December 10th at Turning Point, where Abyss retained the title. As 2007 began, Sting continued his feud with Abyss while trying to recapture the title, facing him at Final Resolution Against All Odds, and Destination X. Again, man, these names are great. And Destination X in the Last Rites match, but he never claimed the title. Also, Abyss and Sting were placed on different teams in the Lethal Lockdown match at Lockdown. Sting, with the help of Jeff Jarrett, pinned Abyss to win the match for his team to end their bitter rivalry. So Sting, basically, so can we say Sting put Abyss over?
Yeah, he did.
Because after Abyss won the title, I mean, Sting never got it back from him.
Yeah, he did. Abyss was hot at that time, with the creation. Because I believe the year prior, or was it? I think it was the Slammiversary match where he had the Monsters Ball match with Samoa Joe. And like I said, Abyss was hot. He was real hot at that time. So, it made sense.
And what is the Monsters Ball match?
I mean, it's basically a no DQ match, but Abyss known for like the tax and the barbed wire. So it's just a signature no DQ match. Is all it is.
So Daniel Price says Abyss was great. He didn't get utilized nearly as much as he should. Yeah, the NWA title was the belt they defended before they created the TNA title. Yeah, I just wonder, because everything is NWA. So, okay, so at this time, the NWA, was there still a National Wrestling Alliance where Jarrett was going to other territories defending, or was that belt property of TNA?
Well, see, that was the issue. From what I remember, the NWA, the board of directors wanted more spotlight put on the champion in different, I wouldn't use territories, but different promotions within NWA. And, they were focused on like the show. They were focused on Impact or at TNA. So it was a conflict. between the board of directors and TNA, that's when they just decided to part ways. And I believe Christian was the champion at the time when they switched. Am I correct, Venkat?
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
100.
Yeah, so a little bit after this, Christian got the NWA title, and then when they disbanded, that's when they went to the TNA title, which was a beautiful belt, by the way.
The original one.
I like the original one. I like the TNA Impact one better, though. It's the same design, but it just has the silver TNA in the middle. The original one was all gold.
Yeah, I may need to go look at. Well, I'm subscribed to TNA on YouTube, so they every now and then they pop up clips of old stuff, so I check it out whenever I can. So let's fast forward a little bit. Sting started a feud with the TNA World Champion Kurt Angle. First, Sting defeated Styles, Christian Cage, and Samoa Joe in a four-way match to become the co-holder of the TNA World Tag Team Championship with Angle, but lost it 30 days later after Adam Pac-Man Jones so lost it days later against Adam Pac-Man Jones and Ron Killings at TNA No Surrender. So now we start the feud with Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle, you can't say anything about this guy but tremendous in-ring talent. Nobody picked the business up faster than him, I don't think. I guess you could say Brock Lesnar, but Kurt Angle was just within 1 year, this man was already everything. So this is something I didn't know about. I had heard that Pac-Man Jones was in Impact, but I always thought it was just a cameo. Like, speaking of cameos, the most misplaced cameo next Tuesday on NXT, Sexy Red will be a part of NXT. Why? I got no idea. But oh my God, I just can't believe it.
She better be taking a bump for me to watch.
Yeah. I want to see her go through a table on the floor.
She better not pin anybody. If she pins somebody, that'll be messed up.
Man, my goodness, bro. They got to be bringing her in for something with Lash Legend and Trick. They got to. They have to. Because I think it's going to end with them two being together. But our Ron Killings and Pac-Man Jones. So from what I remember hearing, because this is around the time I wasn't watching TNA, but this is when I started listening to the guys on it, like Meltzer and all of them guys. And I remember them saying something to the effect like Pac-Man really, the Titans wouldn't let him take a bump. So he was there, but he wasn't really there. He couldn't take a bump.
Yeah, he didn't do nothing. I saw this match. He literally did nothing. As a matter of fact, from what I remember, pretty much it was Ron Killings and Sting pretty much the whole match. When Sting went for the hot tag, Kurt Angle dropped down, and that's when they essentially started the feud, and that's how they won the titles or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I was a Pac-Man Jones fan because, like I said, he was the bad boy of the NFL at the time, and all this and that. I was like, oh yeah, Team Pac-Man. It wasn't what I thought it was going to be. I was highly disappointed. But
MD,
go ahead.
MD, we watched WCW bring in Dennis Rodman. We watched WCW bring in Karl Malone. Hell, we watched WCW bring in the guy with the big chin. What's his name? Jay Leno. Everybody took a bump. Everybody. Kevin Green became a damn full-time wrestler for them. How the hell can you bring in a guy and have him as your champion and he can't take one bump? They should have cleared that. So when they were picking like, hey, what's the guy that we could get to bring in to boost some ratings? Because I knew that's what that was about, because this was around the time where the whole shooting incident happened, where that guy was left paralyzed. This was around that time. So he's the hot topic. Everybody's talking about him. So you bring him in. Don't you think you should clear that with the Titans? Like, hey, this is what we want to do. We want to get him to scuffle a little bit. Will he be able to do it?
It was weird, man. It was weird.
Venkat, first of all, let me ask Venkat, what do you think about these athletes coming into wrestling? Are you okay with it?
I'm fine with it. Sometimes it comes out good. I thought Carmelo was good for WCW. I thought that Dennis Rodman fit right in with NWO. Just
Yeah.
the aesthetics of it.
Yeah.
So sometimes it works out. I mean, it's embarrassing with Jay Leno, Hogan screaming in agony when he gets his arm twisted by Jay Leno. I thought that was ridiculous. Jay Leno is nothing but 100% flab. I don't know how the hell he could even try to hurt a person like Hogan. It was just silly. The optics there didn't look right. But, there are times where it did work out well for him.
Hey, Hulk Hogan looking at that green, brother. So Sting would face Kurt Angle for the world title at Bound for Glory, where Sting won his first TNA World Heavyweight Championship. So now he wins the TNA title. He beats Kurt Angle. However, he would lose the title back to Angle just 2 days later on Impact when Kevin Nash interfered on Angle's behalf. So here we go with the more things change, the more things remain the same. Was Vince Russo booking at this time?
No, I think Russo was out. Russo was out during the Impact era. I think that was all Jarrett at that point. Because Jarrett was out. Jarrett wasn't wrestling at this time because his wife had just passed. So Jarrett was out of the picture. He was just doing the backstage stuff. So Jarrett was booking. Russo was gone. Jarrett was booking. So, it is what it is. I believe this was the Bound for Glory in Atlanta when he won. But not to mention, so Kurt Angle was Sting's greatest rival in TNA, hands down. I was
going to ask you that at the end of the show, who you thought was his best rival.
Okay, all right. Well, I just answered.
Hey, this comment by Chris, and it's so funny because it's true. I saw a video on Karl Malone, and I was just absolutely disgusted. At the age of the girl that he got pregnant and the kid that he doesn't take care of,
he's a trash bag human.
Yeah, it's just utterly ridiculous. I mean, my goodness. So Sting would face Angle and Nash at Genesis with the debut of Booker T as his mystery partner. As per the stipulation, whoever scored the pinfall in the match would win the TNA World Championship, which Angle won after pinning Sting to retain the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. This would be the final TNA appearance of Sting for 2007, as he would take some time off to be with his family. So
now, real quick, I'm glad you mentioned this match, and this lets you know like how the booking was going at that time, because when he came back, I'm pretty sure you're gonna mention it. All four of these guys were part of that angle, but hey,
that's
the main event mafia.
That's right. Hey, just like I say, just roll with me. Just put on your seatbelt. We gonna get there. But okay, what do y'all think about that type of stipulation? It's not like it hasn't been done before, but I didn't like it when WWF did it. And it doesn't sound like it was any good here. Sting wins the title in a tag team match. I mean, not Sting, but Angle wins the title in a tag team.
Well, he retained his title.
Yeah, but because he had just won it back. But what do you think about the world title being put up for grabs in a tag match? Like, I didn't like it when Shawn Michaels and Diesel did it against Owen Hart and British Bulldog. I thought it was stupid then.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense because you have a tag team partner, right? So that means that person is totally ineligible to pin you.
Exactly. There you go. Right there. Hey, all I ever say is make it make sense. Just make the wrestler make sense. That don't make any damn sense. If Booker T wants to be champion and he has his vulnerable partner laying there, technically he can't pin him.
Right, and plus you're gonna be on the apron waiting to be tagged in. I mean, this is ridiculous.
Oh my goodness.
So
man.
Real quick, to give a little backstory on what was going on at this time. Well, even before the Bound for Glory match, so Kurt Angle was like going to California to like stalk Sting's son. Like it was some deep stuff going on at that time, because Sting was saying, like he was all, he said it like 5-6 times in TNA that he might retire, and that was one of those times. And he would go to like California and stalk Sting's son and do all type of crazy stuff. That's why I say like this is probably his biggest rival.
Man. All right, here we go, y'all. We want to talk about it. The Main Event Mafia. So from 2008 to 2009. On October 12th at Bound for Glory 4, Sting challenged Samoa Joe for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship and was successful in claiming the title after Kevin Nash returned and hit Joe with Sting's baseball bat. So now Kevin Nash is just doing heel face turns like the Big Show. After Bound for Glory, Sting, along with Kurt Angle, Booker T, and Kevin Nash and Scott Steiner, created the Main Event Mafia. So now all these names, Angle, Nash, and Steiner, just got through whooping his ass the previous year. So now he joins up with them and joins the Main Event Mafia stable, a stable formed by veterans and former world champions. The faction feuded with younger wrestlers. Say that again?
No, I was saying out of the blue.
Oh, yeah. The faction feuded with younger wrestlers dubbed the TNA Frontline. So tell me about this this Main Event. This picture looks fantastic. Looks like a fantastic group, like a ass kicking group. And shout out to Charmel, because everybody was all on the Mother Nitro girls. Charmel was the star of that show.
Yeah, this was also the debut of African Booker T.
Oh yeah, in my country. My country.
What? Wait, what?
In my country. This is how we do it in my country.
Whoa,
out of nowhere. You just got an accent out of nowhere.
Booker T be killing it, man. And then that's the time when he was doing his own ring announcing. Like he was the commentator on his match, and he grabbed the microphone. And he's like, "Oh, Booker T's going for an elbow. Oh, Booker T's going." He just was commentating the entire match as he's in the match. Oh my god!
Wait a minute, he had a mic in the ring?
Yeah, he had a mic, and he was just doing his own play-by-play. It was so funny.
Wow. I mean, but this picture looks awesome though. Like they really look like. I mean, but okay. So, but let's keep it a buck though. When you look at this picture, what's the first thing that comes to your mind?
Titles.
No, they just rehashing WCW. This is the Millionaires Club.
Oh, Wolfpack in the house.
Yeah, Wolfpack, Millionaires.
Yeah, Millionaires Club. Yeah, I can see that.
Club. Yeah, it's just so that's why I'm saying like there's nothing new in wrestling. Like somebody done it before. It's all been done. It's just who could do it better. I mean, because I'm looking at, and I didn't watch any of this, so I don't know what Daniel's saying. Oh Lord, Main Event Mafia, like it maybe it wasn't good. I don't know, but
it was okay. It was all right.
Just looking at this picture though, the picture looks fantastic. Like it just looks great. I mean, but Booker T is the man anyway. So Sting defended the title against Frontlines. That's a terrible name though. Frontline, TNA Frontline.
33.3% chance of winning.
Oh my god! Oh, hey man, how much cocaine was he on that night?
Scott Steiner has the best promos, man.
So Sting defended the title against Frontline's AJ Styles at Turning Point and Rhino on January 11th at Genesis. Sting also feuded with the leaders of the main. Whoa. Sting also feuded with the leader of the Main Event Mafia, Kurt Angle, at Against All Odds. Sting defended the title against Angle, Brother Ray, and Brother Devon. He then faced off with Angle in a singles match at Destination X. So wait a minute. He's on the hold on. he's on the team with the guy and he's fighting him? Like what's going on?
So what happened was Kurt was in a match. I forget like what storyline was going on at that time, but Sting did something to the ref, like causing Kurt to lose. And on an episode of Impact, Kurt and Sting was out there. He said, "Hey, look, like this is what happened." You know, they were trying to play with the whole mafia family gimmick and saying, "Hey, you let the family down. You got to give up something to appease the family." He wanted Sting to lay down and give the title to him, right? And you know, Sting bucked up and actually this is the promo where Sting actually he did a shoot on Kurt because Kurt, this was the like per Angle era. and Kurt was jacked up. You know what I'm saying? So he did a shoot on Kurt saying, man, you lost your wife, you lost this, you lost that. And Kurt was like you could see he was crying in the ring. He was trying to keep, but he couldn't, you know what I'm saying? Because he knew everything Sting was saying was true. Go look up Sting, Kurt Angle promo Impact. It'll pop up, I'm pretty sure. And Kurt Angle was physically crying because he knew, like, yeah, everything he's saying, like, it's true. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, this was around the Kurt Angle day.
So we and was this before or after Jeff Jarrett started messing with Karen?
So again, Jeff Jarrett was working in the back. He had I think like a year and a half prior. That's why you didn't see Jeff in none of this. He had lost his first wife to cancer, right? It's kind of eerie because it's almost like like the Benoit Taskmaster situation. Not in the sense that they were in an angle, but she was backstage consoling Jeff Jarrett, and at the same time, Kurt Angle was getting jacked up on Percocets and drinking and stuff. You know what I'm saying? So she got that shoulder, like Jeff Jarrett had that shoulder from Karen Angle at that time. You know what I'm saying? And that's how it happened. And Sting and Kurt Angle did the promo, and Sting, he did a shoot on Kurt, letting him know, like, hey, this is what's going on. This is the reason why you lost your wife, ABC.
Wow. And leave it a good old wrestling. Let's make an angle out of it. I remember one thing I did see is they had like a ring. I think it was a ring of fire, or they were in a junkyard, and Kurt Angle and Jeff Jarrett had like basically a fist fight with all the other wrestlers around. That was cool. I don't remember what it was, but it had to have been pertaining to that situation.
Yeah, I mean, hey, to this day, Kurt Angle still say like he don't feel no ill will toward Jeff because he was messed up. I'm pretty sure he do in the back of his mind.
Well, you know what I'm saying. You see his woman now. I mean,
yeah,
she like half the age of Karen, and he got more babies with her, and hey, he's all right.
Yeah, he all right.
So I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna catch some heat for this, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Just looking at this picture, this is why Samoa Joe isn't a bigger star than what he is. Because I don't think he took the time to ever care about his look. He just thought he was one of them dudes that just thought he could get by with just being a good wrestler. You know, the dad bod is good for us. It's not, the dad bod doesn't work when you're on TV in front of millions of people carrying somebody's championship. It doesn't work.
Yeah, his star power didn't carry over to the X division. Well, from the X division, because that's where it came from. Samoa Joe, to me at least, Samoa Joe will forever be known as the X division guy from TNA. You know what I'm saying? That's just what it is. I'm not demeaning his career in any way, but he was like a sore thumb being in the ring with people like Sting and even Kurt Angle to a lesser degree, even though that's the better match. But you can't match up angle wise. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I believe Samoa Joe was in the main event Mafia too at one point.
Yeah, Samoa Joe was undefeated. He just had that run, just couldn't be beaten. That was a nice run for him, man.
Didn't he used to carry a knife or something?
Oh, I don't know about that.
Like, I'm starting. This stuff is starting to come back to me now. He used to carry like a blade or something. So, Venkat, what'd you think about that statement I just made about Joe?
I know why you're saying it. You're not necessarily wrong. I mean, I like Samoa Joe, man. I've always liked Samoa Joe. I saw him in Universal one day. He busted open the guy's head. He was bleeding all over the place. And then they told me to take my camera down. I was recording, and they told me I couldn't have my camera recording. But yeah, Samoa Joe, his look, yeah, I mean, it would have been nice. if he would have had a more in shape look. But I mean, he's so great in the ring and the things that he does, and he's a no nonsense, practical wrestler. Like I'm always complaining about these impractical moments in wrestling, and he's the one guy, at least in modern wrestling, that when you watch him in the ring, his stuff makes sense. It feels legit, and it has a meaning and purpose behind it.
Yeah, I don't disagree. At Lockdown, Sting lost the TNA World Heavyweight Championship to Mick Foley. So now we just rolling out everybody whose WWE contract expired here inside the
Mick Foley had a great match with Abyss too back in those time period right there.
Shit, I could imagine that. Jeez, them two probably tried to kill each other.
That was a Monsters Ball match, I believe. I could be wrong. I think it was a Monsters Ball match.
Yeah, of course.
But so did Mick Foley win?
That match, I know he won this match.
They had series of matches.
Oh.
Yeah, it wasn't just one match.
It was another promo. You could probably find this one on YouTube too. He did a promo with himself on Impact before the Sting match, like talking to himself. One side was Mick Foley, the other side was Cactus Jack, because he was coming into this match as Cactus Jack, and he was talking like it was great.
Yeah, I gotta go back and look at all this old stuff. So Sting ended up losing the TNA title to Mick Foley inside the 6 Sides of Steel, ending his 100. So there's an interesting fact here that I didn't even know, because you don't think about it. We think these guys go on these long runs. They really don't. Ending his 189-day title run, his longest world title run for any organization. You could believe that one, Venkat, that's his longest title run?
It's hard to believe, but I mean,
because you just kind of feel like Sting always had the belt, but he didn't.
I know, pretty much. I mean, in Great American Bash 90, that's July. He would then lose it back to Flair in January the previous year. In 92, he won the title against Luger in February. But then by July of Great American Bash 92, Vader would beat him. So I guess it is quicker than what you remember it as. But I don't know. It's just weird that would be his longest run. That's crazy.
See, and he just pulled that stuff out of his head. Like, I'm reading off a piece of paper, but he went to his head and pulled out that knowledge. You don't get that anywhere else. I bet you nobody on YouTube could do what he just did right there. So on May 24th, this is ridiculous. On May 24th at Sacrifice, Sting defeated Kurt Angle to become the new godfather of the Main Event Mafia. On June 21st at Slammiversary, Sting defeated Matt Morgan in a singles match, thus preventing Morgan from joining Main Event Mafia. And then on the following episode of Impact, Sting's fellow Main Event Mafia members attacked him, removing him from the group, and Kurt Angle reclaimed his role as Godfather. So, I mean, come on, man.
Hey, I told you, man, those were the storylines back in the day for TNA, bro. It was all over the place.
You lose your Godfather, you win your Godfathership back, then you fight some guy that they want in, but you got the final say, so you had to fight him in order to keep him out, and then they just like, oh, you know what, screw you, we're just gonna kick your ass anyway. Wrestling. I mean, you gotta love it, man. You gotta love it, man. Wrestling is so great. So
this Bound for Glory match, at this point, I wasn't watching it. I was collecting the Bound for Glories over the years. I had one up to, I can't remember the last one, but at this point, I don't remember this cover at all right here. So
this is the one. This is the one where like AJ Styles was like doubting himself, and hell, AJ Styles was saying he was about to quit wrestling.
Oh,
yeah, and Sting came out and was like, "Nah, you're the guy, you're the chosen one," and he gave Sting a match for saying that for Bound for Glory.
Yep.
All right, so here we got a lot of stuff leading up to this Bound for Glory match. So the following week, Sting took his revenge upon the Mafia when he attacked every member of the group and stole Angle's World Heavyweight Championship belt becoming a full-fledged face as a result. Only in wrestling can you steal and everybody loves you. On July 19th at Victory Road, Sting was defeated by a new main event Mafia member Samoa Joe in the singles match after the debuting Taz interviewed on Joe's behalf. Another former WWE guy at this point. On August 16th at Hard Justice, Sting unsuccessfully challenged Angle for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship in a triple threat match, which also included Matt Morgan. Matt Morgan, man, geez, I think they fumbled the ball with him and Vince. That guy was too big.
Yeah.
He should have been more. He should have been more.
To be that. On September 20th, at No Surrender, Sting lost a 5-way match for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship that also included AJ Styles, Hernandez, Kurt Angle, and Matt Morgan. Instead of pinning Angle, he opted to attack Morgan, allowing Styles to pin Angle and become the new World Heavyweight Champion. So now we get up to this match. As a token of gratitude, Styles offered to give him a title shot at the following month's Bound for Glory, in a match billed as possibly being Sting's retirement match. How many times are we going to hear that? At the pay-per-view, Styles defeated Sting to retain his title, ending Sting's undefeated streak at Bound for Glory. After the match, Sting announced that he didn't know whether he would continue his career or not, saying that the way you fans are reacting right now makes me want to stay forever. At the end of the year, the match was voted the match of the year by TNA wrestling fans. So, so there we do have our first. That's just the first part. Now let me bring it.
In that match, like I said, I thought maybe it was over because AJ left the ring, and the crowd started giving him standing ovation. I was like, hey, I guess this is it, but it wasn't.
So when does that fake retirement stuff become diminishing returns? Like, this is like the third time.
I don't think it's fake. I don't think it's fake retirement at all. He legitimately, throughout the years, was always saying he's going to retire, and he was like waving whether or not he would do it. And I remember Sting talking about it and saying how TNA was offering them more and more money to continue to stay. And I guess at a certain point, he wanted to see TNA arrive to a certain level, I guess.
All right, so now let's get into his 2010 to 2011 run. We're almost to the home stretch and this is now covering his feud with Immortal. On January 4, 2010, on the January 4, 2010 live 3-hour Monday night episode of Impact, I can't believe they went head-to-head with Raw and they got demolished by it, but at least they had the balls to do it. Sting returned to the Impact Zone, appearing in the rafters of the arena. Sting reappeared 2 months later on March 8th, attacking Hulk Hogan and Abyss during a match against AJ Styles and Ric Flair, turning heel as a result. So Sting never turned heel in WCW. I mean, if you want to call Crow Sting a heel, he wasn't. But no, there was this one time in WCW he turned heel towards the end with the red and black. One time. But here he didn't already have 5 heel turns. So it's like, do you want to see Sting as a bad guy? I mean, just as a wrestling fan.
No, not at all. Not at all. Sting is a good guy all the way through and through. You can't have him as a bad guy. That's just silly. It's not going to work. It's not believable. I don't know.
Yeah, and this was forced anyway because Fortune was over at that time. You know what I'm saying? Then nobody like when they start doing the whole Hulk Hogan thing with Bischoff, like that was force fed. Everybody was over when it came to Fortune 4. Like, didn't nobody care about that Immortal stuff. Not in the beginning, they didn't.
And Trevor, you were talking about they got demolished by WWE, but they're not supposed to be WWE. Their bar that they're looking to hit is their ratings. So if they go head to head with WWE and they get like the highest ratings they ever got for their level, that's a win. They don't have to surpass WWE.
I don't disagree with you. They were never going to beat WWE, but they did it because they wanted to take away from the audience. That's why they did it.
Well, I mean, whatever. I mean, as long as they get a higher viewership than they're used to, that's a win.
But
I know the petty party that they have in wrestling. I mean, it's ridiculous. I ain't never seen so many fragile ass grown men in my life. I mean, in wrestling, these talk about some cupcakes. They got some emotional issues in wrestling. We know this. But I'm just saying, in general, if they're gonna get a higher rating than what they're normally getting, that's how they should be viewing it. But it's silly that TNA would be like, "Oh man, we got smoked by WWE." WWE got like a 60-year head start. They should never be able to beat WWE.
You guys got to watch those Freight Train promos that I've been sending you, man, where they were
I've seen it. Yeah, I'm watching it.
He was saying, "Yeah, we got smoked by Vince McMahon and his wrestling. We shouldn't have went against him on Monday nights." That's what this is. That's what this is like. Because it wasn't too long after this that they switched nights. I got to see who this Freight Train guy is. I got to find a way if I could reach out to him and probably get him. Because I feel like they're taking advantage of him, exploiting him.
Yes.
But on the other hand, it kind of seems like they're doing because they ran a story.
If he love it, man, I don't see no exploiting. He loves wrestling, bro.
But does he? I mean, because
what other opportunity would he have had to wrestle if that dude wouldn't have brought it to him?
I get it, but when I'm watching it, I'm thinking like, man, I shouldn't even be watching this. This is kind of dirty what I'm looking at. But
El Hilo Freight Traino.
you can't turn your head away from it, man. It's like, hey, he cut the best promos. I ain't even gonna lie to you.
The best promo. That damn luchador promo, man. I still watch it I watch it at least once a week, bro. Once a week.
I don't know how the hell I stumbled on that, but man, like I was sitting there watching that all day one time. That'd be the funniest damn thing I ever seen. And you can see the guy that's interviewing him is in on the joke, like he's just sitting there trying not to laugh. But it's great, man. So let's get back to Sting though. And if anybody don't know what we're talking about, just YouTube $5 wrestling Freight Train, and you'll just your side gonna bust. He was later defeated by the debuting Rob Van Dam. During the following months, Sting would join other heel wrestlers against face wrestlers like Van Dam, Jarrett, or Hogan. So now Jarrett is a face. At Lockdown,
yeah, because he had just came back. He just came back to wrestle, and like he did a whole thing. That's another topic, but yeah, he was a face at that time.
Bear Money is on the Team Flair. They were good too. Bear Money.
Yeah.
Bear Inc.
At Lockdown, Team Flair formed by Sting, Desmond Wolfe, Bobby Roode, and James Storm were defeated by Team Hogan. That's Abyss, Jeff Jarrett, Rob Van Dam, and Jeff Hardy. After defeating Jeff Hardy at Sacrifice, Sting faced Rob Van Dam for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship at Slammiversary 8. However, during the match, Jarrett made his return and cost Sting the title. I mean, like back and forth with this, man. Like, my goodness, bro, this is insane. So, after defeating Jeff Jarrett at Sacrifice, say finally beat him, Sting faced Rob Van Dam. Oh no, okay. So after assaulting Jarrett from behind on the June 24th episode of Impact, TNA President Dixie Carter suspended Sting for 30 days. When he returned, Sting changed his gimmick, wearing his NWO Wolfpack red face paint, and he was paired with Kevin Nash. So now another heel turn. So now Jarrett never turned. So Jarrett wasn't a heel when he helped Rob Van Dam. He was just helping out his buddy. Then Sting comes back and obliterates Jeff Jarrett. So I can't see Sting swinging a chair to attack anybody in a heel fashion. That's just it just doesn't work. So they would start a feud with Jeff Jarrett and Samoa Joe facing them at No Surrender and Bound for Glory, where Sting, Nash, and D'Angelo De Niro, that's the Pope, right?
Yeah.
Defeated Jeff Jarrett and Joe after Jarrett turned heel by leaving the ring and having Joe wrestle alone. So what's that, like the 10th heel turn in there? Like, come on, man. My goodness. What the hell is going on here? Like why is all this heel face? At the end of Bound for Glory, it was revealed that Sting had been right about Hogan and Bischoff all along, as they turned heel along with Jeff Jarrett and Jeff Hardy and Abyss's they. This consequently turned Sting. This consequently turned Sting, Nash, and De Niro back to being faces. My goodness, man! Come on, man.
Yeah, that's how it was, bro.
On the following episode of hey, I don't want to hear nobody talk crap about the Big Show anymore. All his heel face turns. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, they tried to paint it like Sting was like a conspiracy theorist because his whole thing was saying that they was part of the network and like all of that. You know what I'm saying? And they weren't really for TNA. They were trying to paint him like a crazy person, and then that's how they paid it off by basically double turning.
Oh man! So on the following episode of Impact, Sting and Nash refused to join Hogan, Bischoff, and their new group Immortal. After the promo, they walked out on TNA, although Nash had legitimately left the promotion. Borden took a hiatus from TNA television as his contract had expired at the end of 2010. So this is his third break from the company so far, third or fourth. So Sting returned on February 24th, 2011 at the tapings of the March 3rd episode of Impact, where he appeared as a surprise challenger and defeated Immortals Jeff Hardy to win the TNA World Championship for the third time. So let's get to what everybody wants to talk about. So Sting came back, defeated Jeff Hardy for the title, and then seemingly the following week or later that week, they had the rematch. No, 2 weeks later. So on March 13th at Victory Road, Sting successfully defended the title against Hardy in a no DQ rematch that lasted 90 seconds. And then I just recently found this. I found out about this a couple of years ago because I heard somebody talking about it, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I got to go seek that out. According to word from backstage, the match was planned to last longer, I bet, but it was cut short after Hardy was deemed too intoxicated to wrestle. Sting was later heard agreeing with a fan's claim that the match was bullshit. So let's talk about this match.
So Trevor, so you got a guy, they said the match was supposed to be longer, but they cut it short because he was too intoxicated. At what point do you say, you know what, let's just say that he got injured and then put a substitution and then have people at least go home happy with a match that they could say, okay, we got our money's worth. But you're going to put this in front of the audience. You're going to put this in front of people paying on pay-per-view. This wasn't like a TV Impact show. This was pay-per-view. People had to pay money to see it. But you know how annoyed and mad I would be if I laid down my cash to come see this. And this is the whole point of watching wrestling is because in boxing, especially in a Mike Tyson fight, it'll just be over. And you're like, okay, what's going on? You have nothing to show for it. With wrestling, it's pre-scripted, so you're going to get some sort of money's worth in the show. And when wrestling does this, it's like, well, what the hell? Not only is it fake, pre-scripted, but then you're not giving me my money's worth on a pre-scripted program? That's ridiculous, man.
I don't disagree at all with what you're saying. Like again, I saw it maybe 10 years after it happened, and I'm just watching it and I'm like, man, this guy should never work. This guy should never work in wrestling again. And this had already happened maybe, 10 years ago. I just think he has consistently just been a disappointment.
Yeah. Yes.
For all the talent in the world, and boy, does he have all the talent in the world, but he has consistently, whether it's the DUIs and you got stuff like this. Can you imagine if he would have went in there and hurt Sting?
Or hurt himself?
Yeah.
Trying to jump off somewhere and broke his neck live on pay-per-view?
Bro, like, just think about did you watch this, MD, like, when it happened? His avatar.
Oh, my bad. I was muted. My bad. Nah, I didn't watch it live. No, I didn't watch it live. But like I said, I saw it like a couple of weeks afterward, and it was the buzz of the internet that particularly. I mean, you couldn't help but to know like what had happened, and it's a shame, man, because Jeff Hardy's character in Immortal was bad. Like they had put everything behind Jeff Hardy at that particular time. You know what I'm saying? So it was unfortunate. It was definitely unfortunate with the black and purple and him coming out smoking the cigarettes and all the time. Like it was a good character, but hey, man, like I guess he just let it go over his head. You know what I mean?
Did they ever say what it was he was on?
Not that I know of. I think he was just drunk. I don't know.
And the thing that's upsetting here too, as well, is who he's doing it with. You're doing it with Sting, one of the best all-time legends in the game. It wasn't even like, somebody that wasn't up to par. He had Sting in there, and like you're messing up his legacy because he's now forever connected to this embarrassing stain. The finger poke of doom looks like a 5-star classic compared to this.
And that was just a wrestling, like that was an angle. That's nothing. Bro, he could have hurt. Okay. Right. Okay, look at this Scorpion Death Drop right here. What with him being as messed up as he was, can you imagine if he didn't lay his head right? Or if he had his head hanging back a little bit too much? He better thank Sting that he's such a professional to know how to deliver that move to not break his neck. Like this, so everybody can say whatever they want about Ultimate Warrior. He's hard to work with and he's unprofessional. Ultimate Warrior didn't do stuff like this. Like this is Jake the Snake level type stuff. Coming to the ring.
This is Road Warrior Hawk stuff. Road Warrior Hawk type stuff.
Yeah, this is ridiculous, man. Like the fact that this guy is still wrestling and still doing shit like still getting getting in trouble. You got arrested, not gotten some legal issues not too long ago. It's always something with him. He probably will go down as my biggest. Him and Patrick Clark will probably go down as like my biggest wasted talent, and even worse for him because he was champion so many times. They kept giving him a chance when he really obviously didn't deserve it. Like this guy, man, he was so much better than his brother, but man, at least his brother didn't do shit like this.
Wow.
So Bones is saying he saw it the same night. This is insane, man. And I'm acting like this just happened. This happened 12, 13 years ago, but just having to go back and look at this and Eric Bischoff being in such a terrible position, having to come out and just tell him like, hey, just do this, and everybody's watching. So now everybody who says that wrestling is fake, wrestling is bullshit, now they have to actually sit there and watch how fake this is. Like the booker is going to come out now and tell his intoxicated employee, just lay down, just let him pin you, just let him pin you.
Oh Lord!
Like this was legit. This was a black eye on the business. This guy shouldn't, man, he was complaining about jobbing in WWE. He should have been.
Yeah. I wonder when he sits down and does his shoot interview, because all these wrestlers do shoot interviews about their whole career. I would like to see how he handles when he talks about this part.
Yeah, Jeff, if you want somebody not going to give you no softball questions, come on over here and come sit on the panel with us. And chop it up with us, and really tell how it is. Because them other guys will just lob softballs to you and kind of lead you out of it. I want to hear it. Like what the hell did you think of that you embarrassed the whole wrestling profession? And it was that bad. It was. So let's move on from him. The following Monday lockdown, Sting successfully defended the title against Mr. Anderson. Another guy wasted potential in WWE, injury that they thought was more severe than what it was, and ended up derailing everything. And Rob Van Dam in a 3-way steel cage match. defending against Van Dam at Sacrifice and against Anderson at Slammiversary 9, where he lost the title because of outside interference from Bischoff. So he has a three-way with these guys, and then he takes them on at the next few pay-per-views and then ends up losing at Slammiversary 2011 to Anderson, which I did watch last week, and that was a terrible match. Terrible. Just terrible.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
That was terrible.
But the lead up to it was great. Mr. Anderson was great, like coming in and doing the promos with the Sting makeup on and the jackets. Like it was a good angle. Just a bad way to go about it. But it started Joker Sting era, so it is what it is. To me, the best era of TNA.
Did somebody stooge my notes off to you?
Oh no, man! I just know the timeline. That's all.
My goodness! So here we go. Over the next few weeks, Sting began displaying a more maniacal character, similar in look and style to Heath Ledger's portrayal of the Joker from the 2008 film The Dark Knight, one of the best portrayals ever of any villain. On the July 14th episode of Impact, Sting, now dubbed as the Insane Icon, regained the TNA World Heavyweight Championship from Mr. Anderson after Fortune and Kurt Angle, disguised as his clown minions, attacked each member of Immortal, preventing them from interfering in the match. So now we have Joker Sting. And when I saw this, I was like, man, if I had the time, I would watch this. Because it just looks sick. Like, I just thought, like, man. So what are you guys' thoughts on Joker Sting?
You got MD, because this was a time when I was tuning out.
Yeah, man. To me, it's the best character work Sting has ever done, in my opinion. Point blank, period. I remember watching the episode of Impact when he went into Hogan's office and smeared the face paint on him, and I was like, what? Like I ain't never seen Sting act like this. You know what I'm saying? And the maturation of it. Man, like it's the best character work Sting has done in his career. It was great, and it was a clear knockoff. Don't get it twisted. It was a knockoff of the Dark Knight stuff. Even down to the clown mask when he won the title back. That was the Hogan match when Angle was one of the clowns. But yeah, even down to the clown mask, it was a clear ripoff, but it worked, and Sting pulled it off magnificently. So it is what it is.
All right. So he would go on to lose the title to Kurt Angle on August 7th at Hardcore Justice after Angle hit him with a chair that was brought to the ring by Hulk Hogan. Sting continued tormenting members of Immortal with his strange new personality. And on the August 18th episode of Impact Wrestling, his longtime rival Ric Flair made his return to TNA and challenged him to a match. Sting agreed to put his career on the line. Here we go again. In a match in exchange for Ric Flair promising to deliver him his long-awaited match with Hulk Hogan, should he be able to defeat him. So stipulation, Sting wins. He gets his match with Hulk Hogan. Kind of we're reliving WCW again. Hey, Sting, James J. Dillon, come to the ring. Sting, you can have a match with whoever you want. You can get this guy. You can get this guy. No, I want Hulk Hogan. So on the September 1st episode of Impact, Sting received a rematch against Angle for the TNA title, but was defeated following interference from Special Enforcer Hulk Hogan and the rest of Immortal. On the September 15th episode of Impact, Sting defeated longtime rival Ric Flair to earn the right to face Hulk Hogan at Bound for Glory. On the September 6th episode of Impact, after being exposed for his false claim of retiring and his secret ridicule of the fans, a furious Hulk Hogan impulsively agreed to hand TNA back to Dixie Carter should Sting manage to defeat him at Bound for Glory. So on October 16th at Bound for Glory, Sting defeated Hulk Hogan to bring Dixie Carter back to power. After the match, Hogan turned on Immortal and helped Sting overcome the odds in his battle with the stable. On the following episode of Impact, Carter placed Sting in charge of the program. So he got his long-awaited match with Sting, and it looked like it was a bloodbath. Hey, red means green. And Hogan probably couldn't do too much, but he could bleed, brother.
Yeah, I remember that match.
How was this match? Okay, was this better? Okay, was this better than Starcade 98, 97?
Oh yeah, 10 times better. Yeah, at the end of the match, it looked like it. Now Sting never said this happened, but yeah, they were busted open. But so Hogan had the bat, and he went to like do a spot where he was swinging at Sting, like swinging at his head, and Sting was supposed to stop it with his hands, but it looked like he missed. So, like literally, Hogan like bashed Sting in the head with the bat. You know what I'm saying? And then that's when Sting got. But I don't know if he bladed or it was a result of that. But he legit hit Sting in the head with the bat, like legit. You know what I'm saying? Sting just missed it.
Yeah, concussion. That's what I was going to say. You had a concussion.
Yeah, he just missed it. You know, Sting was supposed to stop it with both his hands. He missed. So yeah, that's one of the biggest things I remember from that match.
Damn. But you say this was better than Starcade 97 because that's
10 times
Starcade 97 was not that bad.
Yeah, it was. It was. Okay. However, if it was not that bad, it was worse. That's what it was bad. That match wasn't good, and then the ending just completely ruined it. So we almost there. Bobby Roode, Mr. Glorious. So Sting returned to the ring on December 22nd and February 9th, 2012. Sting returned to the ring on the December 22nd and February 9th episode of Impact, where he teamed up with Jeff Hardy. He teaming up with that guy to defeat TNA World Heavyweight Champion Bobby Roode and Bully Ray. So now let's get into his final feuds and departure in 2012 through 2014. During the first months of 2012, Sting feuded with the TNA World Heavyweight Champion Bobby Roode. He was defeated by Roode at Victory Road in a non-title, no-holds-barred match, and then again at Slammiversary in a title match. During this time, he also left the general manager position in favor of Hogan, signed a new contract extension with TNA, and was announced as the first inductee into the TNA Hall of Fame. So again, you got this switching back and forth again, but now Sting is the first inductee of the TNA Hall of Fame. Looks like it was a nice, small, intimate ceremony. I mean, props to him for that. Sting out of character. He deserves it. Whatever Hall of Fame you want to put Sting in, just as long as it's not the WWE Hall of Fame, he's well deserved.
There you go, clowning WWE again.
So his next feud was against a newly formed masked faction called Aces and Eights, where he was appointed as the interim general manager after Hogan took a hiatus due to a back injury. The feud led to a match at Bound for Glory alongside Bully Ray, where they were defeated by the Aces and Eights, following interference from a man who was afterwards unmasked as Ray's longtime partner, the returning Devon. As a result of their win, the Aces and Eights earned full access to TNA. So this always just tripped me out in wrestling because it's wrestling. You have a heel faction that just comes in and invades the company, but you're putting them on pay-per-view, you're signing them to matches, but then you have a match with a stipulation that says if you win, you get full control. It's like when the NWA faced WCW in War Games. If the NWO won, they got like TV time for 3 years. It was something stupid like that. We had already seen them on TV the entire year. Like it's just those little things, those little wrestling tropes where you're just like, man. MD, what did you think about Aces and Eights? I didn't see anything at Aces and Eights. Somebody made a Aces and Eights history thing on YouTube, and I watched the video. It was like a 30-minute video. I thought it was fantastic. So I guess they cut out all of the craziness that I would hear people complain about on a weekly basis and just made this one hype video. I thought it was fantastic. The storyline leading up to it, Bully Ray tricking Hulk Hogan basically to marry Brooke and get. I thought it was great. I thought it was great.
Yeah. I was mainly on WWE's end at this point. I was watching TNA a little bit at this time. I wasn't really interested in aces and eights at all. I One of the things I remember, I think they had Taz in Aces and Eights, so that was like them like implementing like certain power within the company, having Taz as the announcer and Bully Ray taking control. I mean, it was all right. I wasn't really that into it. Mainly at this time when it came to TNA, I was into like Lone Wolf, AJ Styles, and that's when he had the leather jacket and stuff on, and Bobby Roode versus Cowboy James Storm and stuff like that. Aces and Eights was like bottom of the list when it came to TNA with the stuff I was watching. And then you had new guys coming, like you had I believe around this time is when Austin Aries won the title from Bobby Roode, and like it Aces and Eights, I wouldn't bother with that like at all.
I had just came back around this time. I came back in 2011. I came back during the pipe bomb. I had stopped watching wrestling. This trivia for y'all that have ever come up. I had stopped watching wrestling after the Chris Benoit stuff. I just completely stopped. I was done. I'm like, hey, I can't take this anymore. I'm done. I'd stopped watching it, and I came back in 2011. And what brought me back is because I was listening to Ricky Smiley Morning Show, and they were talking. This had got so big that Headcrack was like, hey, you guys need to listen to this. If you're going to quit your job, this is the way to do it. And when they played it, I'm like, holy shit, that's a wrestler. And I went and looked it up online, and I'm like, oh my God, now I got to watch this again. And I came back. So CM Punk is who brought me back into wrestling. So I had completely stopped for 4 years, did not watch anything, didn't keep up on anything. So I don't know what the hell happened between 2007, 2011, because I wasn't interested. But during the summer of Punk, I came back, and it's been full ever since. So that's just a little tidbit. Venkat, you know anything about the Aces and Eights? Aces and Eights, Aces of Eights, whatever.
Yeah, wasn't Bubba Ray like the leader of Aces and Eights? After a while, wasn't he the leader of that group?
Yeah, he was the leader the whole time. He was like the y'all beat me up type guy, but just so we could gain the power.
Yeah. I saw that the whole Book Hogan thing and whatnot. I thought it was pretty cool. And from what I understand, it was highly rated as far as like the Aces and Eights run. People seem to like it. So I don't know. I thought it was fine. The moments that I saw, but I'm like MD and you. I was not watching that at that point. And when I did see anything about it, it was like years after on YouTube, just like seeing little highlights and stuff.
I gotta find that video, man. There's that video that a guy made just summing up Aces and Eights. Because if you watch that, he made that thing seem like it was the greatest thing ever in wrestling. Like, because I guess he cut out all the bad stuff or all the stupid stuff. It was just fantastic, the video. So on the following episode of Impact, Sting defeated Devon via disqualification following interference from the Aces and Eights. On November 8th, on the November 8th episode of Impact, Sting was sidelined with a storyline injury after being put through a table and beaten with a ball peen hammer by Doc Gallows, and a member of Aces and Eights. So he hit him in the head with a hammer. So you want to get somebody out? That's how you get it. So on January 3rd, 2013, on the January 3rd, 2013 episode of Impact, Sting returns, saving Kurt Angle and Samoa Joe from Aces and Eights before beating the group down with a baseball bat. Sting wrestled his return match the following week, defeating Aces and Eights member Mike Knox after he injured Kurt Angle. 3 days later at Genesis, Sting gained his revenge on Doc by defeating him in the singles match. On the February 7th episode of Impact, Sting teamed with Bully Ray to defeat Devon and Doc in a tables match. So again, Devon hasn't taken leadership yet. So after Bully Ray won the TNA World Heavyweight title and revealed himself as the president of Aces and Eights, later that night, Hulk Hogan blamed Sting as he had encouraged Hogan to give Ray the title shot while also encouraging Hogan to support Ray's marriage to his daughter Brooke. Sting then proceeded to walk out on Hogan. So another leaving. He left again. So we're just doing a lot of walkout angles here. Sting returned on the April 25th episode of Impact Wrestling, saving Hogan from an attack by the Aces and Eights. The following week, Sting reconciled with Hogan and became the number one contender to the TNA World Heavyweight Championship later that night after defeating Matt Morgan on June 2nd at Slammiversary 11. Sting unsuccessfully challenged Bully Ray for the TNA World title in a no-holds-barred match after an interference by Aces and Eights. Per stipulation, Sting would never get another title opportunity again. On the June 13th episode of Impact, Sting noted that nobody in the back helped him during his title match, but he would now form a new main event mafia to battle the Aces and Eights. In the following weeks, Sting would recruit Kurt Angle, Samoa Joe, Magnus, and Rampage as the members of the new main event mafia. So playing off the WCW, where nobody believed Sting wasn't a traitor, so now he goes out and forms another. This picture looks badass, but doesn't look as badass as the original one. Look at Nick Aldis over there, GM of SmackDown. Sting is the only one in the suit here. Rampage Jackson. Did they let Rampage Jackson wrestle? Did the UFC let him wrestle? Bones, you could answer that. You big UFC buff. Samoa Joe and Kurt Angle. I mean, his feud with Kurt. So let me get this straight again, because logic. You form Aces and Eights. Kurt Angle gets you kicked out of it. So now you form a new one and you have him back in the group. Just logic. I mean, wrestling is wrestling. It's wrestling logic. So
how many times Sting kept tagging up with Flair over the years?
Ric Flair, oh my goodness.
Flair would always screw him over.
That's just a running joke there. So we got what, 3 more slides. On the October 31st episode of Impact Wrestling, Dixie Carter offered to lift the lifetime ban so Sting can get another world title opportunity again by entering him in the Battle Royal Gauntlet match, which was won by Magnus as Sting attempted to eliminate Kazarian, and Magnus eliminated both of them. Sting then disbanded the Main Event Mafia. So wait a minute. So he created the Main Event Mafia June 13th, and he disbanded it August 31st. So it was 2.5 months. So Sting disbanded the Main Event Mafia after Aces and Eights disbanded. So no more Aces and Eights. So no more Aces and Eights. You don't need anybody to fight them. So I guess it's just like Shawn Michaels kicking Booker T out of the NWO and Vince McMahon coming out later and saying, "Hey, this is bullcrap. It's done." That which was stupid, but that's what he did. And while other members began to chase their TNA World Heavyweight Championship dreams, Sting started a feud against EC3 and Dixie Carter. So the same Dixie Carter that gave him a chance at the title. After they began humiliating TNA legends like Curry Man and Earl Hebner at the behest of Carter. On the December 12th episode of Impact, Carter was confronted by Sting and was issued an ultimatum. Either face Sting immediately or enter the Feast or Fired match. Carter entered the Feast or Fired match and grabbed one of the briefcases. On the December 19th episode of Impact, the Feast or Fired briefcase was revealed to contain a future TNA World Tag Team Title Championship and also led to the firing of Chavo Guerrero. So, MD, what is Feast or Fired?
So, basically, it's a ladder match. It has several different briefcases hanging. You fighting to just go get a briefcase. You don't know what's in each briefcase. After everything is revealed, you get to see what the Feast of Fire is. One might have a world title shot in it. The other one might have an X Division title shot. One of them is guaranteed to have a termination notice. in it. So they're saying that's the fired right there. So
Wow,
that's what Feast of Fire, the Feast of Fire match is.
that's crazy. On the January 16, 2014 episode of Impact Genesis, Sting lost a match to EC3 due to interference from the TNA World Champ Magnus and subsequently challenged Magnus to a title versus career match for the January 23rd episode of Impact Genesis. So what, they started doing their pay-per-views as weekly television shows?
Yeah, I don't know nothing about that. I don't know how that worked.
Okay. So he challenged Magnus. Go ahead.
No, I was laughing.
So he challenged Magnus for a title versus career match. Normally that means Sting is going to win, but that wasn't the case. On the January 23rd episode of Impact Wrestling, Sting lost and his TNA contract was terminated as a result, and this ends Sting's run in TNA. It was not a ruse. Every time he did it, he ended up winning the match, but this time they got us. He lost and thus ended the career of the man called Sting at the hand of Magnus in TNA. And that was Sting's TNA run. It was a lot. I mean, I would have had a better view of it if I actually watched that product, but I didn't. Unfortunately, I didn't. Venkat and MD actually watched the product. So but just based on everything I read, I think he had a really good run. He had an 11-year run. I mean, which was insane. He only was in WCW for probably 12 or 13. So he spent almost the same amount of time. You know, Impact has been in business longer than WCW was. So that's just insane right there, just to think about that. So what are you guys' final thoughts on his not WWA run, on his TNA
Oh boy,
run?
they're gonna WWA again. On his TNA run, it was good. It was good for what it was for him, because it gave him an opportunity to be somewhere that wasn't WWE, and it'd be at a higher profile than a WWA organization. So, and he got the NWA title, he got the TNA title. He got to have matchups that he didn't have prior with some of the talent in TNA that wasn't in WCW. And he got to expand on his character with the Joker Sting and stuff like that. And it just helped to add to his legacy. Because I think if Sting's career ends with that last Nitro, it's still a Hall of Fame career. It's still great. But, with all these wrestlers having these 20, 30-year careers, it would have looked kind of weaker for his overall career and legacy if he didn't have something extending. So it's a positive. It's a positive for sure. He won the world titles, and outside of Jeff Hardy, I would say it's a positive.
MD?
Yeah, I would say it was a pretty good run. Like I said, for the majority of his career in TNA, like he was on top. He made Bound for Glory what it is today, being the top pay-per-view for that promotion. Like he did that. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, he did his job. In retrospect, some of the stuff, and not taking away from what the next show is going to be about, but in retrospect, the stuff that I saw Sting doing in AEW, I would have liked to see it like years prior in TNA, where it could have made something better for like the X division, so to speak. I don't see why, well, I do see why, because you had a certain allure that you were trying to portray with the stars that you had. But based on what I see now versus what I saw back then, it got me wondering, like, why did I never saw Sting like in the X division match or something like that? Because hell, if he can go through a table at 60 something, he can be in the Ultimate X match in 2009. You know what I'm saying? So in that aspect, I think he could have did more. the Joker Sting stuff, again, best character development of his career, like point blank. Period.
Oh, over Crow.
Yeah, over Crow. Yeah, over Crow.
I wish
The
I would have.
Crow didn't say anything.
I wish I would have seen it. I didn't. I can't. I can't. I don't have anything on it because I didn't see it.
Yeah, I mean his character development as Joker Stain was nothing like anything we had ever saw prior. With him being as far as like storylines and angles, nothing like that. That's the most, and like it's not like Sting can't cut a good promo because he can, but those promos were brilliant. I remember one promo where he had the Crow and he locked Eric Bischoff in the office with the Crow, and that was during the Joker. Like he cut some amazing promos during Joker Stain. So best character development of his career. Over the Crow Stain. But other than that, yeah, I mean it's good for him to solidify what he wanted to do in turn. Ultimately, we know it wasn't the end, but what he wanted to do as far as putting a cap on his career from a longevity standpoint. So, I give him credit for that.
Oh, there you have it. I don't have too much on his career on Impact because I didn't see it. But doing research for this show and just looking at the pictures and stuff and just some of the videos that I did see, like I said, I'm gonna have to rearrange my top 5. Staying just legendary, and we still have one more show to go, part 3, because this is over 2 hours. There was no way I could do the WWE and AEW run in this same show, so we're going to come back with a part 3 to cover his WWE run and his AEW run, and then that'll fully give you beginning to end on the man called Sting. I again though, I thought that Sting is just fantastic, man. And I'll give my final thoughts on his career after that show. But fellas, it was a pleasure, man. This one turned out better than I thought. Without me knowing anything about it, like it just rode. That's the marks of chemistry. Like I don't have to know anything about this. Y'all could just ride out on it. I do wish I saw some of it, not all of it. Not all that. I would have been over all the heel and face turns, but it looked like it was fun, especially what I heard about his matches with Abyss. I heard they kind of went to hell, and I would have loved to catch out some of that X Division stuff because the video that my homie sent me was just insane. Like I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. But coming up on Wrestling with Reality this Saturday, we'll be right back at you. We aren't taking the week off next week, just so everybody knows, because there's an AEW pay-per-view Sunday. So we're going to review the AEW Double or Nothing show on Wednesday. It's an 8-match card. They only got 8 matches on there for now, so hopefully they keep it that way. But Saturday at 3 o'clock, we'll be doing a live watch party to the Cody versus Logan Paul main event taking place in Saudi Arabia at the King and Queen of the Ring. And then after that, we'll be doing the review of the show. So we don't try to do both of them on Wednesday. Give the AEW show its own time because it's shaping up to be like it's going to be a really good show. The one thing that bothers me is that there's people petitioning to have the Mercedes versus Willow match as the main event. If they do that, because they're saying the money that they're paying her, she should be the main event because she makes most money on anybody in the company. If they put that match as the main event, they might as well just tell Swerve his belt is no better than the Continental Classic belt or whatever.
Hell, I think they already told him that. The way they booking him as champion.
Okay. See, we got to get to that. When we review that show, I don't like how they've been booking Swerve at all. His title run is like I don't like how Cody's not in a feud. So don't think I'm bragging on AEW. I don't like how Cody's is being booked right now, especially how the hell they got into that Logan Paul match. That was stupid. But at least they're making you know that Cody's belt is the best belt and he's main eventing all the shows. whereas AEW is billing this Sunday show as a triple main event. So
I hate that.
That's their way of saying, hey, if he opens the show, at least he's still a main event. Listen to Teddy Long shooting on how they booked on Swerve. Oh man, thought that was for Bones. I got to check. I was about to say, send me that link, Bones. I got to check that out. I don't like how they're booking Swerve. They got Swerve looking like an idiot. They're booking his title run like what I thought it was. Like it was going to be a token title run just to get the belt on Ospreay. Like that, and I said that from the beginning, but it was just like, oh man, no, damn. And speaking of Ospreay, look at this. Oh, you didn't see it. He was busted open like a pig. But I think Swerve's title run is literally so they could say they had a black champion, so they could shut everybody up. And it's just to get that belt on Ospreay at the next All Out, the one they're doing at Wembley. Which one do they do at Wembley? All Out or All In?
I believe it's All In.
Yeah,
all
whichever one they're doing.
All Out in Chicago.
Yeah,
whichever one they're doing in Wembley, that's where Ospreay is gonna take that belt from Swerve. And unfortunately, I hate to say it, but that's what it is. That's why they put Christian in this thing. Christian's last match was a loss. So how the hell does he now get to be in the title contention? Like
it's weird.
Again, I do this for WWE. When I'm doing 5 count, I criticize the fact that Nick Aldis looked me in my face and told me that they decided on Cody's next opponent, and his next opponent is Logan Paul. How the hell did that happen? And then for Logan Paul to weasel, which I'm glad that he did, because LA Knight should be the U.S. champion. So Logan Paul to say that, hey, my belt's not on the line. Fine, I'm okay with that, because that belt needs to be LA Knight's own anyway, and that's where they're going for the next show, because the face-off that they had. But so I give it to you both. If you don't book your champions like an idiot, and WWE they're good at doing the chase. But it's after the chase that they don't, you might be getting Johnny Knox. Oh my goodness, I don't want to see no Johnny Knoxville again. They're good at doing the chase, but when it comes after the chase, they fall off a cliff. It's just like with Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan versus The Authority, they had this whole great storyline arc, and he won, and he had this crowning achievement. First feud they put him in was against Kane. Like, why? So, hey, I'm going to criticize both companies because I love wrestling, but I'm not going to stop watching it. I'm going to enjoy it, and I think we're going to have a hell of a wrestling weekend. I think the Crown Jewel show is going to be good. Gunther versus Randy Orton is going to be great. I'm already calling it. Gunther versus Orton probably going to steal the show. So I just think that's
the problem for Cody is that there's only one match that people want to see Cody involved in, and that's Cody and The Rock. And we're not going to get that this year. We don't know
when the hell we getting that.
Exactly. So now we're playing the waiting game, which goes back to my point. You should have just let that guy ran out the damn clock. He should have passed Hulk Hogan, bitch ass. He should have passed Hogan. There's no reason you could have let Roman Reigns just keep running up. We already was doing it all this time. It's just a few more extra months. It would have made more sense and it would have been more exciting. But
we still had to wait on The Rock.
Yeah, but we were doing that anyway. So now you just got Cody looking bad right now. That's all it is. It's just not right. And I feel sorry for Swerve. But then again, you look at MJF, they were messing with MJF as well. So I don't know what's going on with their title.
Hey, we got 2 more pay-per-views or 1 more pay-per-view before SummerSlam?
SummerSlam is in August, so you got King of the Ring this week, and then I think you have when is the Scotland show? No, that's in September. No, so it might be just 1, and they may throw 1 in there. So just say 2. Just say 2.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I guess they can make something fit till then.
So I always thought Rock and Cody was going to take place at SummerSlam, but it doesn't. It doesn't look like it. But hey, we'll get to that on Saturday. So, fellas, any parting words before we close out? We did real good on time. I mean, hell, not bad at all.
Nah, man, yeah, that's it, man. Great show as always.
And man, y'all make sure and subscribe to the MD28. Man, listen, if you in the politics, just first of all, if you're in the politics, check out Tape is Politics first, and then go subscribe to the MD20 because he just escalates it. He does a show over there, God and Government, with my favorite YouTuber Apex, which is fantastic. The Manosphere Christian, just great.
That don't even sound right. Manosphere Christian.
Hey, Venkat is great. It's great. It's great.
It sounds like it should go together.
It's great. But yeah, my daughter just came in here. So folks, we're desperately. Venkat, I need that sound, man. I can't find it. I've been looking on YouTube for it. With Tony Schiavone saying, folks, we're running out of time. We'll be back next week.
Oh, yeah.
I've been trying to get the video for it, but I just cannot find it. And for some reason, I may not be looking. I may have to look harder, but I want the little video clip of it and just play it. But hey, with all that being said, fellas, I'm done. Hey, peace, Daniel Price, for coming through, man. You had a lot of great points tonight. Shout out to those of you over watching on Twitter. Y'all come on over to YouTube and subscribe to the channel. So fellas, I'm done.
All right. Have a good night. See you guys.
I'll see you on Saturday, I guess.
Yeah, Saturday at 3.
3 o'clock. Okay. So does the show start at 3, or is that where you thinking that the main event is gonna be?
The show starts at 1, so I'm figuring the main event will probably start at 3 because it's only a 5-match card.
Okay.
You got the two King of the Rings, you got Cody, you got the IC title, and then you got Becky and Liv, which I hope Liv beats her.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. I should be in the house.
All right. Yeah. I mean, this is a watch along, so yeah. Whenever you come in, and then we'll just review the show right after.
All right. Cool. All right, y'all. Peace.
All right, fellas.
Now the whole world can acknowledge me.
You'll get the shit. You'll be knee deep